Okay, my name is James Donahoe, and I'm going to try explaining parallel universes in this weird idea that I just thought up over the years. Little disclaimer here, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not even that smart a person, I'm just a photographer. Anyway, parallel universes. Let's go. Okay, once in a mathematics class, somebody, the teacher said that the decimal points in between 1 and 2 go on forever. They're infinite. And that's true, because check it out. You've got 1.1, 1.2, 1.500. Jankiest looking 500 in history. 1 point Googolplex. Why not? Let's just put that in there. Let's see here. I think that's 10 to the 10th power, and another little exponent, that's 100. I think that's how Carl Sagan wrote that. Anyway, these numbers go on forever. Something else that seemingly goes on forever, the universe. Theoretically, the universe is infinite, just like these numbers. However, something to remember about these numbers here, just because they go on forever and ever, doesn't mean that it isn't contained, because the boundary of 1 and 2 still exist. The same can possibly be said about our universe. Just because it goes on forever and ever and ever doesn't mean that we're not contained. There's got to be boundaries. Possibly. This is all hypothetical. Hypothesis, if you will. I can't say theoretical, I have to say hypothetical, because there's no way I can prove it. Anyway. So, that's our universe. So let's go between 2 and 3. I think we all know where I'm kind of going with this. 2.1 and yada, 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 yada. Same thing can go over on this side. However, the difference is that there is now a 2 in front of everything, which means that things over here are different. Now, the more romanticized idea is that in this universe there's another Earth and another version of you, and all this crazy stuff happens, and hilarity or despair ensues, whichever. Like I said, that's the more romantic idea of how things work over there. Practical application, a little bit different. You see, in our universe, we are governed by a set of physical laws and sciences that run everything. Now, to kind of explain where I'm getting at here, what I'm getting at here, subject-verb agreement, is that we can't actually envision a sixth sense. In the movie The Sixth Sense, the kid, the first thing he says is, "I see dead people." Now that's not really a sixth sense, that's really more an extension of your existing 5 senses. We can't actually think of a sixth sense because we are stuck in this little box of our own senses. This is how we perceive everything. This is how the world makes sense to us. I'm not saying that a sixth sense does not exist. I mean, the universe and its infinite possibilities, there's probably a life form that has 6 or more senses. I'm just saying that we as a species, as a people or whatever, lack the sensory information to effectively envision or explain or define an actual sixth sense. Now the reason I bring that up is, it's the same with physical laws. Our universe, governed by a finite set of physical laws. This is what we know. This is how we think. This is the only way we'll ever be able to think. The universe next door would have a completely different set of physical laws. So different, in fact, so radically different, that we would not possibly be able to figure out how things work over there simply by guessing. We couldn't do it. We just can't. We are stuck in this little box over here. We wouldn't be able to figure out how science works over there, even if science is a thing over there. No idea how anything works. It's just not the way things are. And that kind of creates a problem for the idea of parallel universes, because the physical laws needed to break a hole outside of our universe would be completely different from the physical laws needed to break a hole into theirs. So essentially we can't do it, and I'm just kind of going around in circles. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we did create a breach. Well, and this is a little hole or whatever, I guess. The problem with doing that is physical laws from this universe would start to yoke with ours, and vice versa. Physical laws and sciences would start to change drastically, gradually, maybe even violently, and vice versa. The longer the breach is open, the more this would start to happen. Eventually, if the breach is open long enough, the two universes would probably merge into one new universe, and if we're still even around, we'd have to start all of science over from square one. So maybe it's best if we just stick to things over here. However, the possibility that you should take away from this is that anything you can imagine in this universe, whether it seems like science fiction, wild imagination, fantasy, magic, anything you can envision in some way, shape, or form is possible within this universe. And we're universe number one because I'm biased. Anyway, now, here's where things get trippy. What if, well, actually, I'm not going to get to the what if quite yet. I'm going to say this. This here is our multiverse. What if I did this? A completely new set of numbers. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, you've probably figured it out. You're smart people. I'm sort of smart people. This is a parallel multiverse. I mean, using this diagram, the way that it is, if you can even call this a diagram, the idea of a parallel multiverse is a possibility. A very bizarre possibility, and the best way I can think of to explain it is this. Let's say that our multiverse is a big bubble containing lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of little bubbles. The same can be said about the multiverse next door. Big blue bubble, because it's blue, I guess, containing lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of little bubbles. Now, that's the best way I can think of to explain the idea. The way things would work over here, well, anyone's guess is just as good as mine, because just like the universe next door, the multiverse next door would also have different laws of physics. No idea how things would work over there. I'm probably not even writing this correctly. It could be X, Heart, Mr. Skullhead for all I know. The point is, it's something to think about. Now, something else to think about, the last little bit that I've actually got on here, we thought up parallel Earths. And as I said, parallel Earths, anything, like I said, anything you think up in this universe is possible. However, I don't think a parallel universe would contain a parallel Earth. I think that a parallel Earth would have to exist somehow within our universe. How, you ask? I don't know. But the best way I can think of to explain it is this. If along this axis is how you find parallel universes, and along this axis is how you find parallel multiverses, well then, you have to look at the one spot that no one's looking at here. This little z-axis is probably where you would find parallel Earths. The only way I can think of to describe it is that, let's just say that reality as we know it is a jewel, or in this case, a very awkward looking rectangle. Our reality is going to be right here. So somewhere within our reality, dimensions that we can't see or even perceive or even know exist would be right here, and here, and here. It's like a jewel, and our reality is only one little facet of it. That's the best I can think of. For all I know, it could be there could be one here, and another one like right here, and here, and here, and here, and here. It goes on forever, much like everything else. Now, a lot of this is just guesswork. All of this is just guesswork. 100% of this is guesswork. Does this actually hold up? Probably not. It's like holding water inside a colander. It's just going to slip out. But you know, it's something to think about. It's something that I've been thinking about for years. Why? I don't know. I was just curious. But you know what? It is interesting to think about. And I'm hoping that it opens up some minds. And I'm hoping it opens up yours. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a photographer, and as you can see from my illustrious surroundings here, I'm kind of a nerd too. Don't tell anybody. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope this made sense. I hope it didn't make sense. I just hope you learned something from it. I just hope you learn to start thinking a little more outside the box. Look at possibilities. See what you can create, I guess. Anyway, I'm James Donahoe, and that is my little science rant. One of these days I'm going to start doing movie reviews, which are less intellectual, so maybe I'll start doing that soon enough. Anyway, think about that. See you later.